Hi, my name's Chloe and I run Clara, which is an embroidery business. I'm so happy to be here to participate in Wellness Wednesday and support Women's March. It's an amazing community and I'm inspired by you all. Over the last couple of years, lots of people have taken up embroidery and found it really good for reducing anxiety, as an activity that helps you to be a lot more mindful and kind of help you relax. So we're going to be sharing some basic embroidery tips and giving you a little project that might help you get started with embroidery. Embroidery is great as a self-care tool. You don't need that much equipment to get started. You don't need to learn any really difficult techniques or methods to get started. You can just really teach yourself, and it is so relaxing and so satisfying as well, and really budget friendly. You hardly need any equipment to get started. So today I'm going to show you how to stitch this little design. Now we use one simple stitch, back stitch, which you might have learned in school, but it's really easy. So what you're going to need, you need a pen. You don't have to have an embroidery pen, but this one disappears over time, so this is quite a nice one for not leaving marks on your fabric. You're going to need some light coloured cotton. So this is a medium weight cotton. You can use most things as long as they're not super stretchy. So this is just a plain cotton. You're going to need to get the design downloaded and printed out. You will need some thread, a needle, pair of scissors, a 4-inch embroidery hoop, and then to finish it off at the back, we like to cut a piece of cardboard the size of the inside of the hoop. So you're going to need some cardboard, and we also like to pad the back out with a bit of wadding or batting. So you may want something, you could just use a piece of felt as well, you don't have to use that. So that is what you're going to need. So we're going to start by tracing the design through onto the fabric so we know where to stitch. So this is why you need a pale coloured fabric, so that you can trace the design directly. If you are using darker fabrics, you can use this, which is magic embroidery paper, and you draw the design, trace the design onto the paper, and then you stick it. It's a sticky backed fabric. You stick it to your fabric, which can be a darker fabric, and once you've finished, you can dissolve this in water and it disappears. But we're going to trace directly onto the fabric, so you just want to trace the design like that and just keep going with the whole design. So once you've traced your design, you want to put your fabric in the hoop. So we're going to take the hoop apart, unscrew the top, put the smaller hoop on a table or a surface, lay your fabric over the top, and then place the larger hoop over the top, and then tighten the screw until you get a really nice tight base to work from. You want it to be as tight as a drum, really, so just keep tightening, pulling the fabric so it's nice and straight, and keep tightening your hoop. So before we thread the needle, we're going to split our embroidery thread. So most embroidery thread, stranded cotton, embroidery floss, whatever you call it, comes in lengths of 6 strands, and to make a kind of thinner line, a more delicate line of stitching, you often have to split your thread. So I'm splitting this into 2 strands of 3, because that's the amount we want to use for this design. And now I'm going to thread my needle. So the needle that we're using is an embroidery needle, and this is quite a large one. This is a size 2, and it's got quite a nice large eye, so it should be quite easy for you to thread. Embroidery needles have a sharp end just to help you get through the fabric, and you can be a bit more precise with where your stitches go. So I'm using about 40 to 50 centimeters of thread, and I've tied a knot in one end. So I'm ready to start stitching. Now the back stitch is one of the easiest stitches. So we're going to start with coming up through our fabric and back down again about 2 to 3 millimeters. Keep those stitches nice and small. So that's our first stitch. Then we go up again, and we're going back down through that hole of the first stitch. So you're linking your stitches by going back down that hole, and I'll show you again here. We go up again and then back on yourself down through the last stitch, which is why you keep going back on yourself, hence the name back stitch. So we do it again following the pattern. We do a stitch and then another one, and we go back down through that hole. So it is super easy. This is back stitch. We do a stitch, then we come up again and go back down through that last stitch. Keep your stitches about 2 to 3 millimeters long, and you'll be able to just go over the pattern really neatly. So there is our first back stitch. So just keep going. Now when you have come to the end of a length of thread, you want to leave about 10 centimeters at the back to give you enough thread to knot with, and you want to tie a knot as close to the fabric as you can. So you tie a knot and you pull the loop and put your finger on that loop as you tighten, so that the knot forms right at the base of the fabric to give you a lovely tight knot. So you are just following the line of the pattern that you've drawn onto your fabric with these little back stitches, and you will end up with this design. So I'm just going to show you how we finish off the back. So to finish off the back, we've cut a circle of cardboard which fits inside the back of your hoop. So you can use your hoop as a template and just use a cereal box or something like that for the card. And then we have trimmed around the edge so that we've got a 2 to 3 centimeter border around the edge of our hoop. We need enough to tuck in under that cardboard. And then I'm using some kind of padding. You can use, this is wadding that you use in quilting, but you could use just some other fabric, some felt, some scrap fabric, just to give it a bit of a cushioned look when you've finished. It just looks nicer. So we put the padding in, and then we fold the fabric over, and the cardboard just fits in the back if you've cut it just to the right size. If you need to trim it, just trim it, but it should just fit in there without needing any glue or anything. It's a really easy way of finishing off your hoop. And then you're ready to put it on your wall, gift it, rest it on the mantelpiece. I hope you like it. So thanks for having me. I hope you've learned something today. I hope I've inspired you to take up embroidery. If you would like more information on Women's March, visit the website womensmarch.com to learn more about their work and to find out about volunteer opportunities.